we can start about speaking. This is new evolution, I think, about HR and AMR, probably VR too, but it's not really on my usually works that I do. I work a lot on the last 10, probably about 12 years about AR and AMR. Okay, what is the first? Sorry. I'm Fabio Codebue. I'm CEO of Pitsoft, company come from Italy. We develop some solution using our brand creativity, and in detail, we are developing in the last 6 years a new tool called Artego, Artego, okay, that you can find at the link I already show in this slide. On the first thing that is really important is to define what is big data and what is really MR and AR. And so we can go deeper and understand in which way they can work together and can help each other in the new future. I hope in the really next future. Okay, big data is like Wikipedia said, is a lot of things. It's not only a big amount of information that you can collect on your cloud server or in some other place. It's a way to analyze this kind of data. It's a way to systematically take information, manage information with this data that is very, very too big, very too large and complex to usually connect and understand using traditional software. So, mixed reality, what is really mixed reality? So, mixed reality is a lot of technology, is a merging of the real world with the virtual world to produce a new environment that can help the user to understand better the information, to reach as soon as possible the information they need. Okay, so where is the difference? There's physical objects, naturally, okay, come from real world, and digital objects that come from the virtual world, and these kind of objects have to interact each other from one world to another without any problem. Okay, so mixed reality is not simply take an object and put in the real world over your camera, but it's something more complex, something more interesting, a new way to supply information to the user. Probably this is information that you already know, but it's better to remind what is the big word of augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, and so on. Like you can see, there is a very different technology, okay, that you can use to specify a specific world where you are coming in. So there is virtual reality, okay, is simply full immersion, okay, digital world. There's a 360 video, okay, a new perspective that you can make an immersive situation for your user. There, augmented reality and naturally mixed reality, that is the new way to know the augmented reality. There's another important information to understand the difference of this kind of technology is the continuum, okay? The reality virtually continuum. What is exactly the difference, okay? When one word start and when another word start again, okay, after this. So we have a real environment, okay, our reality, where we live every day. That's augmented reality. Okay, there's simply some digital objects that are overlaid in the real world environment. Okay, there's augmented virtuality, another way to see the augmented reality. Okay, that is when real objects are put in a digital world. Okay, actually the contrary, the opposite of the augmented reality. Okay, and virtual reality, where all the immersion of full digital environment, there's nothing real, only something digital. So mixed reality, that is the our in where we have the focus about it, is something when real world and virtual world work together, exchanging information, exchanging object. Okay, so let's start with a deeper information. Okay, MR and AR really need the big data now to survive and thrive. In fact, the very big problem at the state of the art in this era in the world, there is very, very lot of digital device. This kind of problem makes a huge problem to retrieve information, to analyze all the information. Like we can see usually with the we are social slide, like you can see, we have 5.22 billion of unique mobile user. Okay, so something like 66% of entire world population have a device. There's internet user. There's a lot of active social media user, and after we understand why we speaking about social user too. Okay, so there is very lot device, a great number of device that connected to gathering information, for using information, for search finding useful for their life, for their work, for something very, very important. So we can say MR and AR so needs very plentiful troves of data. Okay, so we need a way to increase quantity of information available to mobile device or internet user or social media user that can use the MR and AR technology. And more important about it, this kind of information have to have better quality. Better quality because the people are growing not only in number, but in culture, in knowledge, and so on. So the information have to be the higher quality we can deliver to the user. Okay, so this kind of problem have lot of information, probably too much information to manage. So there we have to find a way to deliver this kind of information to our user. So we can introduce big data. So what is big data? I already said big data is not only a collection of information, of digital information. It's something more. It's really something more. So there's a speed which data is emanating, which data is delivered to the user. Okay, so there's a value inside this kind of information, but probably this value that is very important for the market, that's important for the market, is really important that this kind of information have to manage, have to elaborate before sending to the user. There are veracity. So the data we collect, the data that we provide to our user, we have to some kind of high reliability and trust, because we have to verify the data, we have to validate the data, we have to ensure that the data is correct and the data is protected from the malicious user that can access to it. And another thing that big data is a big variety of information, so we can collect very, very different information. You can simply imagine the data collected from something like Amazon, from Google, from Facebook, from WhatsApp, from all the other social network like Twitter and so on. They collect very huge, probably unimaginable quantity of data. So we have to elaborate it with high speed before supply to the user. Okay. So what is the really relationship between MR, and big data? Is something like parasitic one? No, really is not this. I suppose is something like symbiotic pairing. Big data need MR and AR to better deploy the information to the user. And MR and AR really need big data, so cloud system, uh, artificial intelligence, EA, intelligence, okay, and some other kind of new technology elaboration before supply the information to the user. So these two worlds need to working together for the benefit of each other, okay? And this is really important. And naturally, for who developed this kind of solution, the problem grows because there are some new knowledge to acquire. We have to evolve the developer, the marketer people, okay, the creative people to design a new solution, because there's a lot of new technology that is not really so stable like you can't understand, okay, and it's very difficult. That's a huge work to do to work together with this kind of technology. MR and AR. So, for example, how MR, AR can add big data. Sure, they can help with the data visualization. You can imagine if you ever work with machine learning or something like this, that there's very big quantity of information, and it is very difficult to read them. And the only way that it can help you to understand this kind of data is plot something like charts. Okay, so MR and AR can help creating something on the 3D charts. So something we can project it in front of the user, in front of you, in your environment, and can help you. Okay, can help you to understand better the information. Okay, probably you have already seen the movie. Come si chiama quello con Tom Cruise? Con I pannelli? Okay, Minority Report. Sorry, a little lapsus. Okay, so if you remember Minority Report or something like another movie, Avatar, you have a lot of information that are plot in front of you. Okay, uses sampling something of futuristic holograms. Okay, but that can help you to understand the all information, the information with all entirety or all information, not only some specific one. So MRAR can help very to simplify data reading, to understand the data you are collect in your cloud system, in your big data that you are elaborate. And this sure help the people to get a better decision, improve decision making about the user, and naturally not only get a new, better way to understand the data, but probably this is was done in in very time few time that a normal analyze of the information. Okay, so but it's not really whole. This is too simple. There's always some hurdles to overcome. In fact, big data, we already told you, it's too complex to read the whole. It's very complex to manage in real time. This is one of the biggest problem, the real time managing of the big data information. So MR and AR needs to work with AA. There's no way. The future ISOE is a symbiotic works from AMR and AE, because this is the only solution to have, like I already told you, veracity of the information, velocity, okay, to give the answer to the user, okay, in a big data world of very, very big variety of information. Okay, information are sure, are structured well, but as very difficult to elaborate in real time. So probably we have to merge these words and work together. Another way, MR and AR probably can get an immersive experience, because they can create in your environment, in your physical context, using an immersive technology can explain the environment that you use. I not prepared some idea and photo, but probably you can watch with your device a machine, a complex machine that have some hundreds of documents to prepare, to manage, to work with this kind of machine in your industry. But it's very difficult to remember all this information. MR can help you to achieve the correct information in the fast way you can reach it, and naturally give you the correct information in the correct moment you need. Okay, so the first thing important is big data have a continuous information. Information can grow, will grow, always grow, and have to elaborate it and give to the user in using the maximum effort exactly in the moment they need. Okay, so if you speak, if you can, if you watch in the near future, I suppose not so far from today, and we can imagine a next generation of social media. Probably, if you're speaking about VR, you already spoke or you already hear about metaverse and so on. But this kind of technology, so big data, cloud company, Internet of Things, VR and AR, and so on, can create in the near future something, a new idea of social media. I can see some case study. So personalized social media interaction using directly connection from device around the world using MR and AR. Something like content awareness, okay, in learning system. Or you can imagine the beautiful things of a doctor that to have to learn how to solve a problem when are in hospital, and can really watch inside their patients with something that augmented the information about the data of the patients. Okay, there is a new way of novel media strategies, okay, that you can imagine in the future, a movie that we will see with the MR technology. When so we are so inside the movie when we watch the movie, because the movie is on our environment, is into our environment. or multi-user information and collaboration. You can imagine a lot of offices that are developing a new product, are designing a new product, and some technicians that are far away, some 1,000 miles from one from each other, and can work together in real time on the same product using interaction with VR technology or AR technology, or something on locomotion and navigation. Naturally, I saw something in this conference about the new HUD systems that are developed with Texas Instruments in the United States, when they imagine to plot information on the glass of your car, okay? Or user studies, some other valuation, the information. Naturally, the first and simple way to use information of the social media to analyze the flow of the people, of the thinking of the people, which graphs in MR or AR system. Or naturally, something like changing perception, the present, okay, with probably some like holograms on other things to directly speak to the other people with more engagement in this kind of tools, okay? Or grabbing, manipulation of objects that are not really here where you are, but are remote objects. So like I say, we have to solve a problem on a machinery, okay? I'm 300 kilometers from the company, okay? Something can use the device to watch the machinery, and I can remotely to move information, some 3D information overlapping the screen, and the technician on site can understand how to solve the problem, okay? Something are applicable in the hospitality with rehabilitative application. In Italy, we are starting a joint venture with a bigger neuro labs for helping people to solve their rehabilitation problems. Okay, probably we start in the next month on using in neuroscience on behind. We need to always help the people to solve their problem, okay? Or content creation, okay? In social media systems, some content that are not simply put on the screen, but is overlapping the screen in your environment to get more engagement, to get more detailed information, okay? So, and in the other way, how big data can help AMR and AR? They can store naturally a huge amount of data. They naturally work. They can categorize, perform analysis, return only a specific result, an exact result of the information you need, or introduce AE for specific operation, for elaboration, for manage the information and give exactly the result you need, okay? You can simplify the information searching with a big data, okay? This is a lot of things are very interesting about it. But naturally, we have some problems. We are not in heaven. We have always some problem, some hurdles to overcome. The cost of proof of concept development of this kind of solution, okay? The device, not all the devices on the market are really, really good for MR and AR. Yeah. Now, in the last 2 years, I suppose the 65% of devices are useful for MR and AR. But we are so far for the perfect result of 100% of all device support MR. So naturally, we have problem to tracking accuracy and privacy. Probably do you hear that some problem in the new glasses are developing because that are recording the information when you use it. And because there's a big problem of privacy in Europe, in the United States, and some other states. There's a big problem of privacy. We can't track all the information around the eye. Naturally, there's an effort of develop user interface useful to the user, very good to use, and naturally manage a huge amount of data. Why it's a problem manage a huge amount of data? Naturally, in this world at this moment, we have a big problem of connectivity. So if connectivity is not good, it's very difficult to deploy information to device with high quality or in real time, okay? So we have to find some solution about it. We have to try to find this kind of solution. So to solve the problems, we have some tools that work with big data and device, which can manage offline data, which reduce cost of production and maintenance, and naturally have a good AI. So what I can show you now is our tool, okay, that we have created about it. Is in a beta version we are deploying in these days, okay. This is a tool called Artego Studio and Viewer, okay, and Artego app, and working naturally on Windows, Mac, Android, iOS, and so on. Okay, this is a simply example of the studio when we can manage different chain. Okay, after I have only some minutes to show you some information. This is the app where you can deploy direct information, reducing the cost, reducing the time to produce MR information and deploying using the app. So you can simply show that you can create something, okay? You can so have a collection, a catalog of your products that you can show, and you can show different kind of information like a video, like a website, like a call number to call the support of the company, or you have to show PDF with documentation and so on. I don't want so tedious, but like you can see, there's so you can have custom server to deploy all your information, a lot of projects that you can deploy in every project, a lot of chains of the project. Every chain naturally will be one product, and one product have a lot of information to show. So if I want to show my laptop, okay, I can show information about how to use, how to clean, okay, how to change my memory and to change my hard disk and so on. So there's we don't speak in deep about this using the marker, okay, but I suppose you already know, or you can have information using, you can get show information markerless, okay, or geomarker. And there is a lot of information you can put in your chain, you can put in your environment, but is call to action with an image, call to action with a video, call to action with a website, with a 3D model. You can share your project with a smart tool, and a lot of more features like develop specific connector for your document management system, for your e-commerce, your accounting system, and so on. So just some minutes so I can show you a video to understand better this kind of information. Okay, just a moment. Okay. Here I am. Okay, this is our Artego Studio. It's simply, but you can put in your environment, prepare so a chain, okay, just a chain with a lot of information, a panel where you want to show in the environment your kind of information. So I can have one more PDF, more HTML information. So simply I prepare this information, okay, I create an app and simply click and deploy. So we have tried to calculate the time to create a simply application with 10 products and some CTR for every products. Oh, you can make your AR application and don't use more than 10 minutes of your life, for example. Okay, I can show you what you the result of this kind of work. The result is take your app, okay, and in this kind we are developing the AMR application using the application tool. So I create a target, okay? I can use a markerless situation. So like you can see, I just take the floor, okay? I can manage the shadow, the lights, okay? I can do a lot of these things. But the really useful information that is, there is really a lot of information that you have to need to create and develop an MR solution. But we using big data of our servers, we use AI and these kind of tools. We can produce MR application only using some minutes, okay, of our lives. And like you can see, it's very simple to obtain a very, very high quality solution. Okay. Just a moment, come back to presentation, and so we can go to, okay. So I finish. I hope this is what's useful about it. And if there are some questions, I can answer on it. You can write on QA chat, okay? I hope all this information was useful you to understand what is the next future flow of information to manage a lot of data and deploy correctly to the user. I suppose you can always reach me using this information, okay? Okay, that is in my slide. So this is my email, f.codebue@psoft.biz, or look in our site, creativity.io or artego.io. That is the tool I show you. And you can contact us. We are very happy to explain to you how it works, how we can really deliver in few time and few cost a lot of information to your user, and so get a big we can make a big deal.